What's up, guys? Riccardo Baleia here with another edition of Riccardo Baleia Podcast. This is episode 6. And before we get to today's special guest, I just want to quickly remind you guys if you can like and subscribe. Hopefully, I'm pointing to the right thing. But if you guys can do that, it means so much for me. I really appreciate it. And, let's get right into it. We have the man. We have the guy that is regarded as having the best jiu-jitsu technique in the UFC at the highest level of mixed martial arts. Mr. DEMIAN Maia, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, Ricardo. It has been a long time. I've been there with you, I think it was back in 2008, and looks like it was yesterday, but it was 12 years ago almost already.
That's it. And you know what? I don't know if you recognize, but I'm wearing a gift that you gave me this gift when I was in Sao Paulo a few years back at Copo Podio. Unfortunately, we couldn't hook up, but you sent one of your guys, Rafael, to come hand deliver me this nice t-shirt in the middle of the tournament. So I never got to say thank you face to face. So a big thank you from me, brother.
Don't worry. Thank you very much. You were very welcome to me when I was in Canada, and I love to be there. For a long time, I don't go to Canada, but it was so nice country and so nice place, and it was great when I was there.
Yeah, and hopefully after all the coronavirus, mess is over, you can come down and maybe come in the summer when it's a little warmer. We'll hope
for sure. But winter is fine too. Actually, I just got a affiliation inquiry from Canada, so nice. Maybe I will get something soon over there.
All right. Well, my door is always open for you, man. So anytime you come.
Thank you.
So, the focus of my podcast, like I was mentioning to you earlier, it's really talking about, the legends of jiu-jitsu. And, I've been following your career since I was a blue belt, purple belt. I remember even seeing you, and the first time I ever saw you was in the Mundials in 2004. I don't think you competed, but I saw you there. And if I'm not mistaken, did you have like a knee injury or something?
Exactly. Yeah. That's what the first. Yeah.
I remember seeing you like either limping or the crutch or something. I remember seeing something that caught my eye. Yeah. So, I followed your career in 2004. I got to see you in ADCC 2007. I was working the event, and then you kind of came, to Canada, and we hooked up and stuff. So I've not only have I been a fan, but obviously, consider you a good friend. I wanted to talk, like I said, more about jiu-jitsu. Obviously, everyone knows you about mixed martial arts. You have it's crazy because you essentially have two long careers. And I think what's great about you as a fighter is so many people know you as DEMIAN Maia, the UFC fighter who's, amazing at jiu-jitsu, but not like those same people don't know about your history prior to that. All the tournaments you won in Brazil, all the Jujitsu championships, ADCC. So I wanted to focus a little bit more on that with you. So first things first, like, many people do, I'm sure. I want to hear how you kind of got started in training jiu-jitsu and hooking up with Fabio Gurgel and the Alliance team and so forth.
Yeah. So, I don't know why I've been involved more with martial arts since I was a teenager, since I was pretty young. So first, I was training judo and when I was around 5-6 years old for a couple of years, but I didn't choose that. My mother just, threw me and my brother and I, and so we trained for a couple of years, then we stopped. I don't remember why we started. I don't remember why we stopped. But when I was about 10, 11, I started to bothering my mother that I want to train martial arts again. And so there is a turning point in my life. I had a friend in my school who just came from the United States. His name is David. And his mother went to Indiana to study music, to do her doctorate in music.
Okay.
And he was training Taekwondo there. So he arrived in the United States. He was in the 80s. He was about 6 years old. And he came back to Brazil on the 5th grade with 11 years old. And we met. And he was a red Taekwondo black belt. Because you know how in Taekwondo they give black belts for kids. Yeah. I was totally crazy about that. And he was good. He ended up lately being world champion with 18 or 19 years old. And then he won the world champion with 19, 21, and 23 years old, many championships in a row. But I got crazy. I said, man, a guy is a black belt and he's 11 years old. I want to train. Yeah. And so I started to train, and I go to a taekwondo academy. My mother puts me there because, of course, the influence of my friend. But my mother didn't have money, so you know how they do the plans at that time. You give like 12 checks, or something like that ahead, a year.
Yep.
So my mother gave the 12 checks. So we go there and I start to do the classes, and after like a couple weeks she realized she couldn't pay, so she came to the Korean guy and said, please, can you give me back the checks because I'm not gonna be able to pay. And I was really sad because I want to keep training. So I finally had another friend, a Jewish friend, who was training at Kung Fu, and was much cheaper to train there. So I said, I just want to do a martial art. So I said, can I go there? And then my mother was able to pay, was much like half of the price, maybe. In that time, martial art was pretty cheap. And so I was able to start training. And then I saw the first Vale Tudo, event in São Paulo in 1992 or 91. I don't remember. I got crazy about that. I said, man, I wanna do that. That's the ultimate challenge, because in that time people don't realize, but all martial artists, if you go to train martial art, you go because you wanna learn how to defend yourself. Sport is nice, everything is nice, but you wanna know that you train something that is efficient if you need. So everybody was thinking about that. It's not like today people go to the academy because they want to get in shape, they want to get healthy, and they want to, they want to feel well, they want to, enjoy a team, and they have a relationship, which is great. But in that time, the only thing that matters, like, I will be able to be the guy who wants to beat me in the street, especially here in Brazil. So when I saw these guys, the jiu-jitsu guys, I got in that gymnasium that late, many years after that, I would go there and fight, Jiu-Jitsu championships, but I didn't imagine it at that time. And I got to that Ibirapuera stadium. And I saw those guys, those Jiu-Jitsu guys fighting other guys. Like, I didn't know those guys, after I realized, many years after, there was Renzo Gracie, Ralph Gracie, and Marcelo Bering, who already died, in the 90s. And I saw these guys, they just smashed the other guys. I said, man, this is good. And I started to think about, I want to do Jiu-Jitsu, but there was also a big rivalry with martial arts at that time. I'm talking about early 90s. So if I say to my Kung Fu teacher, I'm going to train Jiu-Jitsu, he would say, fuck you, get out of here. Maybe try to beat me or something like that,
It was real.
And I was afraid of that. And plus, Jiu-Jitsu was very expensive. Jiu-Jitsu in that time was very elitized, like
elitist, like for like the wealthy,
for rich people, And of course, some people, they get, to train for free, like Leozinho, Tererê, those guys. But for me, I didn't know nobody. So I said, man, I want to train that. But, I have two barriers here, the money and my teacher. So it took, few years for me to be able to overcome that and start to train. And what really makes me do this change is, one day I was walking the street near the Kung Fu Academy, and there was a academy in the second floor of a store, and they say there was like a signing for a championship. And I came there and said, okay, let me see what it means. And was the championship, they say contato livre, like free contact. And so they have like 3 or 4 kind of competitions. One is like semi-contact, full contact, and free contact. And free contact means pretty much vale tudo. So I said, how I get to compete that? I just turned 18 years old at that time. And I didn't train Jiu-Jitsu, but I knew people from Jiu-Jitsu. I learned some stuff from my friends that they were training. And I asked the guy how I compete. I said, okay, just pay $30 here, and the competition will be this day in the coast of São Paulo, like an hour and a half from São Paulo. And you go there, it's just one fight. It's not going to be a championship. It's just one fight. I said, okay, I'm going there. And I came to my Kung Fu teacher. He was kind of said, I don't know. But he said, okay, if you want to compete, let's go. And so I go there with this friend of me, going forward, this friend of mine who was training taekwondo, that was like maybe 7 years after that, 6 years after I met him and tried to train taekwondo, I was training kung fu. So he goes there and recorded that, and I have this recording actually, and I
Oh,
go there
wow.
and fight a capoeira guy, and I start the fight. I get a hit to the chin. I kind of get knocked down, stand up again, and then when the guy comes rush over me again, I did the only thing that I learned in jiu-jitsu with my friends, because I was trying to learn something from there in their house, in their living rooms.
Yeah.
I just did a body lock takedown, go to the mount, very traditional, like first
Yeah.
class, and start to hit the guy. He turns the back. I go to Mata Leão, but then the referee interrupts the fight because I was hitting too much the guy, even before when I was going to the Mata Leão. So I said, man, I got to start to train jiu-jitsu. I've been training kung fu for almost 6 years, and when I go to the fight, the things that I do is like I did 3 classes with my friends. So
Wow.
then I said I'm gonna train that.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
wait a minute. Okay, a couple things here I want to backtrack. Number one, this was before the UFC. You saw Vale Tudo in Brazil before
That
the
was
UFC
before
one.
UFC, because UFC was, I think, first one is like November 93,
93.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So this one that I saw, I think it was like really end of 91 or
Okay.
early 92. When I research and all the records, they say January 1992, but I don't think it's that. I think it was like
Okay.
November 91, because I
Okay.
remember I was having classes, and in Brazil in January you don't have classes. It's like
Okay.
summer vacation.
Yep.
So I'm almost positive that was 91, but it's very hard to find the records about these fights.
Okay. And then the fight that you just mentioned about body lock takedown, you get them out and choke them out. Is that the one that you put up like a clip on one of your highlights from back in the day? Or has that never been
No,
released? Okay.
no, actually, that's just been released. If you go to UFC in Brazil, just did a platform here. I don't know if you heard about this, like
No.
ufcdocs.com.br,
Okay.
but it's BR, so it's just in Portuguese. I don't know. They didn't release in with subtitles. They have with subtitles, but I think they will release it Fight Pass, over there.
Okay. Okay.
But for you that understand, some Portuguese, you can go
Yeah.
there, because if you go like ufcdocs.com.br, like Brazil,
Yep.
and then you go to Nascidos para o Combate, it's like Born to Fight,
Okay.
season. You go to season 2, and season 2, it's me, Shogun, Cláudia Gadelha, and Edson Barbosa. So
Okay.
it's a documentary about my life. They did
Oh,
like a
wow.
couple years ago in Brazil. It's very, very nice, very well done. It's like kind of like a Netflix Chef's Table thing, the director was
Nice.
very good. So
Nice.
then I released for them, and there's this fight. I mean, the blue speedos. You're gonna see there. You're gonna see. It's very easy to get. You just
Yeah.
click ufcdocs.com.br, and you. I think you just need to put your email, and that's it. And you get it's for free.
Okay. I'm definitely going to go check that out. But
Yeah.
let's get now to the next step. You saw that you needed jiu-jitsu and you felt that little bit of, potent technique that you had was so
Yeah.
powerful. So, what was the next step? How did you end up hooking up with Fabio Gurgel's academy and get your jiu-jitsu training started?
So there was pretty much. I want to train. Fabio was one of my targets here, but I couldn't afford. It was too expensive. So I went to another academy that a friend of mine was training there with a great guy, very technical guy. His name was Fabio Araújo. Actually, now he lives in the East Coast in Connecticut.
Okay.
He's teaching in the same city of Yale. Is the Yale, the university is.
Yeah. Oh,
I just missed the name of the city, but it's in Connecticut. So
okay.
he's teaching over there. Actually, I just gave a seminar there
Nice.
this year and last year. After I didn't see him for like 20 years, so I saw him. So this guy, anyways, this guy was my first teacher. I go
Okay.
there and start to train. He's from Rio de Janeiro. He came to São Paulo. He was Carson Gracie brown belt. So I trained with him like around a year, a little bit over a year, got the blue belt, and then I moved to Fabio after that,
Okay.
and to Fabio Gurgel. This first guy was Fabio Araújo. Fabio moved to United States after a little bit after that, and
Mm-hmm.
started his life over there. But I go to Fabio Gurgel for one reason, you know, for a couple of reasons actually. There was three big academies in São Paulo at that time, which was Aliança under Fabio, Ryan Gracie under Ryan, Barra Gracie actually under Ryan, and Godoy Macaco. You know, those three was like the most winning championships academies in São Paulo at that time. There was Bering Academy, but Marcelo Bering just died at that time, so you know, was kind of not so competitive.
Gotcha.
So I like to be in the, and Fabio was very technical, as Brian Grace Academy too. Godoy Macaco was very good in competition, but they were knew more about, you know, they are very good in conditioning and very good in stamina. But the ones that were known by be very technical was Fabio and Gracie Barra, which was Ryan Grace here, right? So I wanted something really technical because I was not big, but Ryan was also known to many street fights, you know, as also, you know, the guys from Godoy Macaco. So I didn't want to get involved. I never liked street fights. I always, and there was like a big problem at that time. They were like fighting the street all the time. Ryan and Macaco, they have rivalry between each other. Man, it was a crazy time. It was crazy. It was so crazy. I remember one day somebody from one academy from each other shot with a machine gun somebody's house, you know, from the other guys. Was like this level of things, you know. So I said, no, I want to go. And Fabio was very professional. He was like the best one and good athlete and pretty professional and also pretty technical. So I said, okay, I go in this academy because that's what I want. You know, I want something technical and something very professional. So that's why I decided to go to Fabio, and I got there. You know, I arrived there.
Okay, so one of the things that I try to do with this podcast is it's kind of selfish because the whole goal of this podcast for me is to learn from the legends so I can pass the knowledge and share the knowledge with my friends in the community, with my students. And you were at one of the best academies in Sao Paulo, best academies in Brazil, training with some of the best in the world, Lauzinho, Talis, today, all those guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're now training for the UFC, you know, fighting at the highest level. You've seen jiu-jitsu change, you know, over the years. Obviously, the sport has changed, the attitude has changed, the physical training has changed. What could you say as far as like you being a competitor at the highest level back in the day compared to now, the current training in jiu-jitsu? Like, what has changed? What is the same? What is better? What is worse in your opinion? Because for me, it's like if you are winning at that high level back then, there's something that you were doing right. And obviously you're winning at the highest level now. You have a really big team, you know, major academy right here. And, you know, so you're doing something good. So I want to try to figure out what's in the middle there. What worked on both ends?
Yeah, I think, you know, first of all, like you said, when I get there, first time at Fabio, I saw all my idols there. Because, you know, I was following, even before training jiu-jitsu in the magazines at that time. And I get there to watch the training before the first training, and I see Leozinho training, Leozinho Vieira, and I see Fernando Terere training, and I see Leonardo Silva, Leo Negão training, another guy, and I see like Eduardo Teles training, and I see, Fabio, you know, obviously, so many good guys at the same place that I said, man, that's the place that I gotta be. So the first thing is like, you got to be surrounded with, you know, I was surrounded with so many good guys that it was kind of, you know, there was just two ways, or I would give up or I would get good. And what I think about jiu-jitsu training, I think the training, jiu-jitsu training, I think it evolved a lot technically, obviously, because, you know, jiu-jitsu is a living martial art. That's, you know, the beautiful thing about jiu-jitsu. But I think in terms of training, I think it is still a lot to evolve, the way that people train. I think they make too much mistakes in terms of I saw that, because I've been training MMA, and I've been training a lot of wrestling, and I've been training, of course, for my fights, and I understand the way that people train. I think they make a lot of mistakes, but no, the good thing is everybody makes a lot of mistakes in
Yeah.
training. What I mean is, like, not technically, but I make mistakes how they train, how they pick,
Like
how
the
they choose
structure.
the training. It's the structure of the
Yeah.
training, how
Okay.
they structure. And that's why the people are lucky, because the other guy is making mistakes too. But I think I remember one day I was, back in 2009 or something. There was two students of mine, Rafinha and Bruno. They came to me and said, "We want to go to the worlds, and we want to try to win." I said, "Look, I cannot, run your training, because I'm training for my fights myself.
Yeah.
But I have something different, that I can schedule your training. You're gonna train jiu-jitsu this time. You're gonna train more stand-up this time. You're gonna do more situation this time. You're gonna train just drill this time. You're gonna do preparation this time. So I'm gonna schedule the training for you, and I can stay, be with you like once in a week, something like that, because I cannot stop my training.
Yeah.
But I have something different, because I've been involved with like the highest level of, sport, which is MMA, for fight sports.
Yep.
So I have something that I can give, and I think this will be good. And I wasn't able to see their training, but I was also getting the feedbacks and giving every week the schedule for the weeks. And for that year, even that I was not with them all the time, and there was not good training nowadays in the academy. They were training with a lot of blue belts, and for this championship, Bruno got second in the worlds. He lost to Keenan Cornelius in the final as a brown belt.
Okay.
When Keenan, of course, was a
Yeah.
great guy, and Rafinha got third as a brown belt also, and he lost by advantage or something. So I think that's something that I really wanna do in the future, is like bringing everything that I learned in terms of structure of the training for Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Mm.
For bring from MMA and things that I build with my team, because Eduardo, also my head coach, he's a genius, doing that.
Yep.
And I'm sure if I bring that to Jiu-Jitsu, I will get some guys doing pretty well.
Nice. So more like a segmented training, specific positions, and changing different tech, not just techniques and drilling, but like you said, positions. Like I was watching, you recently launched your YouTube channel, amazing
Yeah.
techniques on there, and I really liked what you were doing, was like drilling the technique, but then letting the person react with like a
With
little
some
bit of
reaction,
adjust.
like
Yeah.
50%, something like exactly.
Yeah. So I think that
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
something different, maybe, for me, it's a great, something great that I saw. And I think, I'm looking forward to seeing what you could bring to the table, for jiu-jitsu team, and, kind of going back to your roots, as they say, but,
yeah.
reflecting back on the old times when you were training with these guys, was there any sort, like, I asked this a lot of the top guys. I try to figure out something. When you say you saw idols in the sport in jiu-jitsu,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
did you ever try to emulate anyone's game, or
Yeah,
did you
everybody.
study them to beat them?
No, if you see that I just launched a couple months ago, uh, an Instagram of my affiliation, like Demian Maia BJJ affiliation in
Okay.
English, and Demian Maia BJJ filiados in Portuguese. And I launched that, of course, to structure a little bit more my my affiliate academies that is start to grow right now. But also, I start to launch a lot of things that I wrote about the theory of jiu-jitsu.
Okay.
So
Yep.
I repost some in my Instagram, but and I tell that like, for instance, there is some ways that I pass the guard that I totally emulate from Terere.
Mm.
you know, because I saw him doing and I felt him doing on me, which is most important.
Yeah.
And I totally, you know, emulate from there. If you see my fight that I just posted with Thales Leites, when I pass crossing my knee, you know, stand up
Hmm.
crossing the knee, that was totally tereré way of passing.
Hmm.
And there was some things that I got from Leozinho, some things I got from Fabio, and some things I got from Marcelinho. You know, Marcelinho was my training part was not like it was the same belt as me, so
Hmm.
I got something from there. Like the back attacks, I got a lot from Terere first, and then of course after from Marcelinho too. And they were like my inspirations, and they, you know, I was lucky they were my training partners also.
Yeah. Back in the day in competition, who was your biggest rival? Who was your toughest fights at black belt? Who was the guy that, you know, maybe you beat him, he beat you, and you guys kind of always ended up fighting each other?
Yeah, there was a guy that I fought since like the early brown belt, and I fought him because I used to fight a lot, and he used to fight even more than me.
Hmm.
There was his name was Fabio Nascimento. They call him Fabio
Fabio
Negão, you
Nakao.
know,
Yeah.
Fabio
Yep.
Negão. Yeah. So we fought 15 times.
Wow.
15 times, yeah, 1-5. So I remember I fought Fabio Gui. I fought Fabio no Gui, and I fought Fabio MMA. Our last fight was MMA, you know. And after that, we all trained together. He helped me to some UFC fights after my jiu-jitsu career. He was
Nice.
a great guy. He's a great guy, you know. He also fought in Affliction
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
championships. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was a great guy, you know, great guy, pretty tough. I think I won 11 times and he won 4 times. Who else? You know, the Jacaré was like a guy who I fought, you know, and I lost to him in the ADCC. I won against him in the World Cup. Was pretty tough. I think the only guy that I remember Fernando Paradeira was a great fighter too. I lost to him a couple of times, and then I win. The last time we fought, I win.
Hmm.
Uh, Braulio Steam, I fought once, Nogi, and I win. I won, and then I fought Hingi in the semifinal of the World 2005. Then I lost, so he was pretty tough too.
Yeah.
One guy that I never beat, you know, I fought 3 times and I lost was Xande Ribeiro, you know, in
Oh
the
wow.
absolute division.
Yeah.
Xande is so great, you know, he's
Yeah.
so good fighter.
Nice.
Um, who else? Yeah, there was, you know, many guys.
And what would you say um would be your, if you reflect back on it, what was your most satisfying tournament win or match that you won? What was the one match in your jiu-jitsu history, your grappling history, or
Mhm.
tournament that really, you know, you'll remember the most? Like, what was the most memorable for you?
Yeah, there is two, and one I would say the first one was the ADCC final in 2007.
Yep.
There was, you know, there was so much history behind that fight. Since, you know, I started to dream about that in 1998 when there was the first ADCC, and I was a blue belt, and I was in Rio de Janeiro with Fabio and watching him train with Traven, Roberto Traven,
Yep.
and Alexandre Paiva, and who else? I don't remember. All these guys training, Leozinho, you know, training for
Yeah.
ADCC. I was said, man, I really want to fight that because I always want to fight MMA. I started jiu-jitsu because I want to fight MMA. So
Yeah.
there was no gi championship before ADCC, just for luta livre guys,
Yeah.
not for Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So when they started with the ADCC, I said, man, that's my goal. More than words, my goal is to win the ADCC because, you know, because it's the words, but the words of no gi,
Yeah.
and it's very prestigious. And I said, I want to win one day. And then I remember in 2003 or 2001, 2001, they did a trials, but I was a purple belt still. Yeah, early 2001, I was purple belt, and or end of 2000, and I fought. I won one fight against Fabio. Got me a spot in the super heavyweight, something like that. You know, under 99 kilos. I was like 80
Oh wow.
kilos. Yeah, so 99 is like 220, you know,
Yeah.
pounds, and I was like 180, something like that. So I said, but I go because it's like it's my chance. So I go there, but I knew it would be very hard because everybody was black belt and much heavier than me, like 40 pounds over me. So
Mhm.
I won the first fight against a Carson Gracie guy. Was an interesting fight. I remember Carson was in the side, rooting for the guy. He was the coach of the guy,
Yep.
and Carson started to get angry of the guy because the guy was like holding back, afraid of fighting me, and I was a small guy. And the thing that Carson hates most was the guy he called, the guy
Matuka.
who, yeah, exactly, the guys who really, don't go after you, like the guys that are, kind of holding back. So he
Yeah.
really get mad of about the guy, and I was, chasing the guy, pushing the guy, and like butt heading, like it was crazy. And the guy was kind of, getting a little bit down, and he was much bigger than me. And Carson was, screaming to him. At one point, I pushed the guy outside near Carson. Carson said to me, hey, boy, just finish this guy, against his own student, just finish this guy. Go there and just finish this guy. It
That's
was
hilarious.
fun, and
Yeah.
and remember Carson was like in that championship, was in ABB Lagoa, and we just, he just, there was just the separation with BTT and Carson
Yep.
Grace. The guys left, and he would go to the guys, all the former Carson Grace guys, the BTT guys, and he would see the guys in the stairs, in the gymnasium, and go and start to. He called somebody, say, "You see that guy? Like 10 feet away from the guy. Say, you
Yeah.
see this guy here? This guy is a mutuka. This guy is like an asshole. This guy's blah blah blah." And then his students, they wanna, they don't wanna say nothing bad for
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
because they respect him, but they don't wanna, listen that. So they just move to the other side. Then suddenly you see the guys leaving, and suddenly you see Carson walking to the guy again, and you go near to the guy, calling somebody else out of nowhere and say, "You see that guy? That guy just did that. That guy, he
Yeah.
has no character. This guy was funny,
Yeah.
not for the guys, but for me, it was really funny. Carson was funny. So,
Yeah.
anyways, so then there was the split in Alliance, and we
Yep.
left. And I didn't get invited to the. I don't know if there was something to do with that, but I didn't get invited to the trials in 2001, 2002, sorry. And till 2003 they have ADCC every year. And man, I was so frustrated because I knew I had chance to do well, and
Yep.
I didn't have chance even to do the trials. They didn't allow because they just invited people. So it was kind of, was not nice because they invited who they want, and who was in control were some guys. They were in control of the invitations.
Yeah.
So if they don't think you deserve, of course I deserve at that time. And I remember going there and watching. The ADCC was in São Paulo in 2003, and I saw Leozinho winning, who is my, who was my training partner, and I saw Marcelinho. I knew Marcelinho would win. I knew Marcelinho was great, but nobody knew him.
Yeah.
So he goes there, he fight Renzo, and he did crazy, and
Yep.
he fight Shaolin, he did crazy, all these stars, and he finally, he win the ADCC with like 18 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was happy for him, but so sad after that for me that I remember, because I said, man, I didn't have the chance to show that I can win also.
Yeah.
And so I put something in my head. I said, man, I will do everything that I can to get in the ADCC and win that. So go forward 2004 to 2004. In 2004, what they say, okay, we're going to have trials for everybody, but we're gonna have 4 people in each category, and the next week we're gonna have another trial with 4 people that we're gonna invite. So we'll be 8 people, and they will fight, and one guy will go to ADCC. So I said,
Wow.
okay, I will get the invitation because I won, I won the final of the World Cup
Yeah.
in 2003. I was doing well, winning everything. They didn't invite me. I need to go to the first trial. So I get in the first trial in Campos dos Goitacazes in Rio de Janeiro.
Uh-huh.
I get there. I remember, man, I didn't have any money. I get in a hotel was the worst thing that I been in my life. I'm not picky, but I never saw something like that. So I go fighting, and there was 3 fights to pass for the sorry, there was one detail.
Okay.
Like, you remember when you saw me in 2004?
Yeah.
I was limping.
Yeah. Yeah. When
So I
the
go
the
to
mundials. Yeah.
yeah, I go to Sweden to a seminar. I come back and I do a surgery in my knee.
Mm, okay.
This trial that I'm talking about is like 6 years ahead. 6 weeks ahead.
Oh
I
wow.
said, "Oh my God!" I asked the doctor how long it would take to recover. He said, "Man, the good time is like 2 months before you come back." I said, "No, no, I need to fight in 6 weeks." He said, "Okay, we're gonna rush. We're gonna do it in 4 weeks. It's not good. Maybe you're gonna be worse, but we can try if you do serious physiotherapy and this kind of thing. And you have 2 weeks of training for the fight." I said, "Okay, let's do it." So I
Wow.
get there. I train for. I come back to for first training after a month of the surgery. I go train with Robert Drasdale. Robert is very good in the arm triangle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And my
No.
neck was kind of not so prepared, because I was like for a couple months without training, or 1 month. I think I tapped to Robert like maybe 10 times in one training, something like
Wow.
that. I said,
Wow.
"Oh my God, I'm fucked," because it didn't used to be like that
Yeah.
before. And
Yeah.
I said, "Man, in 2 weeks, I'm going to have a trial so tough." So I go to campus, and then I get a very tough guy in the first fight. This guy is living in Costa Rica. I just met him a couple years ago. I win. Then the second fight I got I fight against Irapuru, which was a very, very tough guy from Draculino,
Yeah.
from Gracie Barra.
Yeah.
I lost to him once before, and I win. And then when I fight him, I cut my lip here. We headbutt. I cut my lip. The referee said, I'm gonna stop. I said, "Please, there is just 1 minute to go. Please, that's my dream. Please, please."
Yeah.
Then he said, "Okay, go." And then they start to bleeding like crazy again. He said, "I'm gonna stop." I said, "Please, just 30 seconds." And
Yeah.
then start to bleeding like crazy. He said, "Now I'm gonna stop." I said, "Please," it's like 20 seconds, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I clean and I just running away, and I win that fight. So
Wow.
next day would be the final. And the final, the other side of the bracket was Braulio.
Probably.
Braulio was in the final. So I go to some, public health. I didn't have insurance that time. So I go to some public place, or I had insurance, but it didn't just cover São Paulo. So I go to some public hospital, very bad. They stitch my lips, like, wherever.
Yeah.
And next day I go to fight Braulio, and I'm able to win against him. And but then you think, okay, it's over. No, I come back to São Paulo, and next week there was the trial against
Real trial. Yeah.
the invitees.
Who is the invitee in your division?
Margarida was one. you know.
Yeah.
So Margarida was pretty much the best jiu-jitsu fighter in 2001,
Yeah.
2002. Comprido, and Macaco, and man, so many good guys. I don't
Yeah.
even remember everybody. But I get Margarita in the first fight. And Margarita was an idol for me.
Yeah.
So man, and then I go there. I don't know how I win the fight. I win the fight. Then I go win the second, and then the final I go with a guy from Carson. His name was Sergio. I forgot his second name, but who was like sparring partner from the old times, from Vitor Belfort, Valide, all
Okay.
these guys. Then I win against this guy. And then I said, okay, I just put in my mind this mindset. I said, I need 2 fights to win ADCC. So I won 6 already. I have 4 more. So I get in the IDCC 2005. I win my first, some third fights against Saulo Ribeiro, another guy who was my idol.
Yeah.
I saw winning against Fabio Gurgel, my teacher, back in, like a few years ago. I said, my God, I saw him winning against Fabio when I was like blue belt. So I get with Saulo, and I managed to win that fight. And I get in the final with Chacaré, which was like a monster in that year. He was like the best fighter in the world.
Absolutely.
So I said, okay, what I should do is, I know Jacaré is very explosive, right? And I'm more like my pace, I keep going, keep going. I know I can fight for a long time, and Jacare is
Yeah.
more like fast fiber guy, like pa pa pa,
Yep.
So I said, okay, I will try to let this fight go. First 10 minutes, no points, so I will just survive, and I always try to stretch the fight as much as I can, because after 20 minutes we're gonna have the overtime,
Overtime.
and I wanna do many overtimes as I can. Then Jacare will start to lose his explosiveness, and I will have the chance. And
And that
then
made sense because in 2003, Jacare got gassed in one of his matches. I believe he started to, you know what I mean, even with Saulo.
yeah,
Actually, it
yeah,
was Saulo who kind of gassed him out in the finals, I believe. So it was a good strategy for sure. And you guys fought for a while. So I'll let you
yeah,
continue. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. So what I did is like I go and he did well in the first 10 minutes. He took me down. Sometimes he did some stuff, but there was no points. Actually, I never get points in the ADCC. Before that old fight, I was purple belt. I never got points in the ADCC rules. Never in my life. Not even in the trials or in the championship. So Jacare, he's trying to push the pace, and I'm kind of holding. And okay, I said, okay, 1 minute to go. Then I'm gonna start to push when the overtime comes. 30 seconds before the end of the first 20 minutes, the referee gave me a deduction point because they said I worked backwards. And that was weird because I think they did that because we are from the same team, Brasa, at that time.
Yeah.
And maybe they thought, oh, they are not really fighting, but of course we are really fighting.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. So when the 20 minutes was over, I saw Jacare, like
Celebrate.
celebrating.
Yeah.
And I saw what's happening. We have the overtime. And then I look at the thing there,
Scorecard.
the score, yeah. And there was 1 point, to him. I said, oh my God, I can't believe that was so frustrating. So frustrating. I was so sad that I wasn't, I said, I'm not going to fight the absolute division. That was crazy because they invited me, they just invited people. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to fight. I should fight the ADC, the absolute division. So we go to 2007, and I go and say, I want to win this so bad. I training hard. I get there, I fight. I think was first fight was or second fight was no first fight was Yoshin Okami.
Shokami. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very hard because I was fighting under 88 kilos, which is like how much, like 190, 195, something, 195.
And I remember I was there and I saw Yushin and I was like, shit, he's big.
Yeah,
He's
no, I
pretty big.
was, yeah, because I didn't cut weight, I was
Yeah.
185, something like that,
Yeah.
187 maybe. And everybody was cutting down to 195.
Mm.
So everybody was like 10, 15 pounds over than me, especially because that, if I don't know if you remember, but in that time, the weighting was the day before,
Yep. Yeah.
not like today. So you do the weighting day before and you don't need to do the weighting again.
Yeah.
So I go fighting Okami. I didn't know him, but he, I end up winning against him. Then the second fight is Rafael Lovato Jr., which is like
Yeah.
the Bellator champion, great fighter, two great jiu-jitsu fight.
Yeah.
I end up going to his back and winning the fight. Then the semifinal is, I guess, Tarsis Humphrey, who was like world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Then
Yeah.
I win also. And then the final is Cachorrinho,
Flavio.
Flavio Almeida, the brother of Riccardo Almeida, great fighter. We did like 11, 12 minutes of fight, and then I was able to submit him. And so that was like the dream come true. That's something like the dreaming that I started to dream in 1998, and 9 years after. I remember going under was in the pyramid,
Yeah.
how you call that?
Pyramid. Pyramid.
Pyramid,
Yeah.
yeah, in Anaheim.
Yep.
Anaheim is Anaheim. Yeah, it's in California, in LA.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if it's Anaheim,
Well, that
but
one's
it's in
Long Beach. Yeah. And then the Pan Am's
that
in
Long Beach,
Indiana.
Long
Yeah.
Beach. That's in Long Beach. I remember going under the stair, under the benches, and call my wife and cry, because I was so emotional. That was something that there was so much history. I didn't tell you, but when I go to Sweden, when just after I met you, there was
Yeah.
my knee was kind of fucked up, I was in a nightclub there, just watching a band. My friends were the bouncers. Some guys came to me. There was a gang, a Syria gang from the guys from Syria over there in this city in Sweden. They
Uh-huh.
came to try to push me, and I hit one guy. I never fought, in nightclubs, but this guy came over me. I hit the guy.
You had no
Then
choice.
suddenly, like there was 8 guys over me, and I started to fight the guys. One guy came to the side. I didn't see the guy stab me in my belly, with
Oh
a
shit.
knife, and they run
Wow.
away. I put the hand on my belly, and when I looked back, I looked down, I see blood all around. I said, my God, they stabbed me. I don't know if I'm gonna die or not. So then I come back to Brazil, I couldn't train well because the knife stabbed. And then when the knife is good, I do the surgery to my knee. And then I have this, all
Oh
these
my God.
trials there. Man, was so much things going on to winning that. There was, an explosion of emotion. And after that, I said, man, this year I'm gonna win the absolute. Year I'm gonna win the absolute. And then, the guy, Demian, you are the guys we're gonna invite to the absolute from Brasa,
Uh-huh.
and we have one more spot. And there was Robert and Andre Galvão went into fight because both are third place in their division.
Yeah.
And I said, man, I want to put both to fight. And then, I want to let them fight because I won already.
Yeah.
And I said, please let me fight and let them fight. I promise that we're gonna fight if we cross each other. And the guy said, no, no, just two guys for team. And then I said, I want to be democratic, because I was like a kind of the
Yeah.
leader, one of the leaders of the team.
Yep.
Actually, I was the guy who bring Robert and Andre train with us. So I came to Andre and Robert and said, look, they said I'm the one, and you guys should decide one more. But I want to be democratic, so we're gonna do like 2-1, like the how you call the
Rock, paper, scissors.
like that, yeah, something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that, and to choose who is going, okay, and then guess who lost.
Yeah, but you know what? At the end of the day, what was it, like 2 weeks later, you got your call for the UFC. It was very soon after. It felt like two
No,
weeks.
yeah, in the end of the day,
Yeah,
was great and sad and very happy at the same time. It's like
yeah,
Andre need money very bad that time, and he got third in the absolute, and Robert share with him the money of the absolute because we are in the same team. So Andre end up getting a good money from third place in his weight division and half of the absolute. He was the guy who got most money. Robert Robert was the guy that I was not just training myself for this ADCC, but I training Robert too.
mm,
You know, because all the Brasa guys they went to Miami and we couldn't go, Robert and I, to train the last 2 or 3 weeks. And Robert was
okay,
desperate. And Robert said, Damien, what are we gonna do? It's just me and you and some blue belts. I said, Robert, come here. You trust me? Yeah, I trust you too. Don't worry. We're gonna do well here. And I said, let me do your training. Let me schedule your training. So I remember sometimes Robert would come from the countryside. He was living like 1 hour or hour and a half from Sao Paulo, and I would train earlier to train him,
yeah,
after my training. So I would train sometimes with Josuel Destaque, the guy who ended up
yep,
after training Anderson Silva and
yep,
Paulo Filho, all these guys. He's training Jacaré right now and some of those guys. And I was with Destaque in the morning because, people don't know that, but 2 weeks after the ADCC, I had the MMA fight in the United States, my first fight.
oh,
So I went
the Gracie fighting one.
race fighting
That's
championship.
right.
So I fought ADCC. Then 2 weeks after, I fought in Chicago. So I stay in the United States and fought MMA in Chicago. So my training for this ADCC was crazy because was some days were MMA, some days were like,
Yeah.
just no gi ADCC rules.
Wow.
And so I was happy that Robert won. So our training worked, the training that, I have a part of that too.
Uh-huh.
And I was sad because he won against one of my best friends, Marcel, in the final.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's competition life.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
We've been talking about 45 minutes. I got a couple more questions. I hope you're okay for time. Just a
Of course,
couple
yeah,
more.
I'm good. Sorry, I'm talking
Okay.
too much,
No,
but I
no,
just
no, no, not
wanted
at all,
to
not at all.
say,
I'm just like,
yeah,
totally geeking out here. Just listen to it, so it's all good. You've had such a long history, in grappling and jujitsu. Like I said, it's like you had an entire career in jujitsu, and then you started a whole new career in the UFC, and you fought for the title. You fought, beating some of the best. And the thing that I admire a lot about what your style is, it's always changing and it's always evolving. I know that you go to Jersey to wrestle. You're practicing your striking a lot in Sao Paulo. And, with you, when you first came there, you were just doing jujitsu. You weren't even hitting anyone. And you said you didn't want to hit anyone. Then you were starting to strike. And then you started to wrestle. So I don't want to talk too much about the UFC because I think get a lot of those questions. But I have to ask you, what was it about the specific game that you made with Askren? You obviously tangled up the legs from the bottom with with a single leg X position. Why did you choose that path to get to where you needed to be in victory? Or was that something that was just kind of a consequence of the situation? Was that something that you trained, you planned? Of course, I feel like even without you practicing specifically, you could have, utilized that position and won with that. But it obviously looked like it was something specific you were going for. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Like, what was it about him that you felt like you could win the match by going that route?
yeah. So yeah, for sure, it's we train a lot of this stuff, for this fight. I knew this fight could be like, you know, in my way, not easy, but I could win. But I knew that would be really tough if I made the wrong decisions.
Okay.
So, my friends, and thanks to the genius of my head coach Eduardo, he said, Damian, there is few things we need really concentrate on. And the first thing is stand up. So stand up is like he's probably not he's not gonna knocking you out, but he has efficient game to clinch, and maybe he will try to take you down right away and hold the fight and stall, wait the referee stand up, take you down again,
Yeah.
and keep doing like that to win the fight. And maybe you're gonna start to get tired because of that, and he will win. Or he will just keep the fight stand up, like clinching, that he's very good on clinching, and take you down in the last minute
Uh-huh.
to win the round, and don't be too long on the ground to don't be danger
Don't
for
get
him.
caught. Yeah.
So, and that's exactly what he did. So he said, first of all, what's my game? I normally shoot the guy's legs, right? That's
Uh-huh.
one of my main games, and the single leg or the double.
Or pull half guard.
Yeah, but mainly,
Yeah.
the shoot. So Askren is known for his great wrestling, like Olympic, level wrestling. He was in Olympic games. He's like
Yep.
national champion. He, from many of my friends, the wrestler, he was the most
In- innovative.
innovative guy,
Yeah.
in wrestling, in the last years.
Yeah.
So, and his main thing is not shooting, but it's like countering,
Yeah.
in wrestling. So that the first thing that was hard. I need to change totally my game to don't shoot his leg. You can take him down, but not shoot right away, because he's gonna stuff your head and make you tired, and you're gonna lose energy. And if you lose energy, you're gonna look bad, and he's gonna be able to, do whatever he wants. So first thing, you're gonna exchange some points. You're gonna keep up the clinch. If he take you down, no problem.
Yeah.
But you don't shoot, maybe you try to go to the back, stand up, but so first part of the training is like all taking out my how you call my mania, my
Like your way, like your like almost like your A game, like
yeah, my A game, which is hard, because I've
yeah.
been doing that for so many years. Second thing is like you gotta be prepared to pummel stand up, because he's prepared for that. He been doing all his life,
Yep.
that he's good in takedown for body locks and this kind of things.
Yep.
So what we did a lot of Greco things, not Greco, but like I should be my arm. I need to. Are you listening me?
Yeah, it froze for
Hello?
a sec. Can you hear me? Are you good?
Hello? Yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Now we're
I'm
good.
good now.
Okay.
So, I need to be with my arms ready if we pummeling a lot.
Okay.
So what we did, a lot of Greco, every training, a lot of stuff. Don't shoot the leg. You can Greco, you can go to the back, you can do some trips, but don't shoot the leg. And we doing a lot of Greco to get my shoulder and my arms conditioning to don't get tired. So that's the first part.
Okay.
Second part, this Eduardo said, if he take you down, the way he will win is stalling the fight.
Yeah.
And the way he will stall the fight is if you stop, when you get down, stop to try to think about and say, okay, I'm going to do this or that. So when you hit the ground, you should do something right away, like move. So choose what you're going to do, but don't stop. Hit the ground and start to do. So that's Eduardo part. My part was like to develop drills,
Technical. Yeah.
that people would take me down when I want to go to omoplata, I would go to heel hooks, I would go to triangle right away. Don't let the guy just take me down and stop. And the third part is like my main sweep is normally like the half guard sweep. So, but the half guard sweep is very, the wrestler are very good in beating that
Yeah.
with the wizard, the overhook. So I need to bring back a lot of stuff from my jiu-jitsu times, coming back to jiu-jitsu times, like the arm bars that I used to do, like I did with cachorrinho,
Yep.
and the sweeps going to the heel hooks, the hook sweeps, the butterfly sweeps,
Yep.
and training all that. So it was like a journey, it was very nice. Things went well, but things could be bad if we didn't do all this mental work, not physical, but also mental work.
Yeah. So it's a good strategy. You eventually use the leg lace and you end up getting on top, get to the back, and
Yeah.
submitted them like everyone in jiu-jitsu thought you would. So that was an awesome match. It was a big win for you.
Hmm.
Listen, so I know we're running out of time here, and I know before we get to I wanted to talk a little bit about your YouTube channel real quick, and you had something you wanted to tell me as well about some of your
Yeah.
matches. But I got one question that the entire grappling community wants to know is,
Uh-huh.
would you consider coming back to doing like a grappling super fight, whether gi or no gi? Because like everyone, it's like their dream fight is to see you and maybe Jacare again, or maybe somebody
Hmm.
from that generation. Is that something you'd be open to, or are you going to
Yeah.
focus on? Okay. Is there
Yes.
anybody?
No.
Is there anybody that you?
Specific?
Yeah,
No, I don't think about nobody
but you would be open
right
to it.
now. Yeah, I'll be open to that for sure. I
Okay,
got a lot of invitations
I bet.
to
I bet.
that,
Yeah,
and I want to do that. Is because I'm our team and we are very professional, and
yeah,
we still in the UFC. I have one more fight probably, but for sure, I want to bring some experience that I had in the high level training in the UFC and back.
yeah.
And yeah, I will do at least one more time. And what we are talking about the YouTube channel that I just launched like a couple weeks ago, but you know what is crazy, man? I just got a video that's firsthand to you. I just got a video. A friend of mine used to go with me since I was blue belt recording all my fights.
Okay.
And I got a video. Okay, there is many of my fights that I'm posting, people are
Yeah.
watching. But I got a thing that I got even emotional to say that, but there was fights of guys, not me, but there was fights of guys that they are stars nowadays. So I got fights of Tarsis Humphrey as a blue or purple belt in this
Oh
no
wow.
gi fighting.
Yeah.
That's back in 2001, I think. I got two fights of Andre and Marcelo. Andre was like 16 years old, and Marcelo was like 18 years old, something like that.
Wow.
But this I'm not gonna post because
Yeah.
I spoke to him. I said, "Guy, please, don't." I will send to him. Maybe if he allowed me,
Okay.
because Andre and Marcelo, they are so dear friend of mine that.
Yeah.
But I was watching their fight now, and it was great. And there was a kid, he was blue
Yeah.
belt actually, and Marcelo was a red brown belt, like very good, and there was much Skinner, and there was my first fight as a black belt in a championship, then my first final fight against Gabriel Gonzaga again, Napão.
Okay.
all no-gi fights. There
Wow.
was Tarsis Humphreys fights. Tarsis was like, I think, purple belt or blue belt. He was like also like 16 years old, something like that, or 17 years old. So, and I know nobody has this footage,
Yeah.
just me. And I asked Marcelo if I can post some of his fights. He said, okay.
Oh
So I will
wow.
post one of his fight against Fabio Negão, and so what he fought André and other fights. I think he fought 3 fights that day, and one is André, one is other guy, and then he fought Fabio. Then in the other hand, I fought 3 fights, and I fought Napão in the Gonzaga, Gabriel Gonzaga in the semifinal, and we closed the bracket because we are all Alliance. So it's a nice, a nice history. It's nice, I'm
Yeah.
learning to do the edition now with
Yeah.
this quarantine stuff. So
Gotta keep.
I see you put great content also. So you're
Thank you.
gonna send me some stuff too,
Yeah, I got a folder that's waiting for you. I gotta send you some stuff too. And
Perfect.
it's talking about that, and when I talk about the fight, about maybe you coming back to grappling or doing something, we're just talking, maybe. But I look at a guy like you just posted a match with Tatley Slage. In my opinion, that'd be kind of a cool match to see. You know what I mean? Somebody got you fought before.
Yeah,
And you mentioned Gonzaga. I recently put up a match with you and Gonzaga where you submitted him with the triangle. So I'll be sending
yeah,
you that one too. So you had a lot of great matches. So many good guys that we can sit here and talk about forever. I'm sure you got stories forever. But man,
yeah.
we did our time here. We're just about time. I don't want the recording to stop. I can't thank you enough because I could sit here as a fan and listen to these all day. It feels like we're just having a natural conversation. It was a huge pleasure for me. Where can people follow you for jiu-jitsu? Like if they want to come train with you, if they want to maybe learn about affiliating with your jiu-jitsu team, can you give
Yeah.
them that information? I'll put
So
it in here.
of course, yeah. First of all, Ricardo, you are dear friend. So anytime you want to do again, we do. It's nice to talk about jiu-jitsu. I have so many
Yeah.
histories. Like I just posted the fight with Roger today,
Yeah.
and there's so much history behind this fight. It's the same day the alliance break. There was
Yeah.
the break of the team,
Oh,
and
was
the day
that
before
was
we
the
are.
tournament? That was the
That
specific
was
tournament.
yeah. The day
Ah,
before was the tournament. The
wow.
day
Okay.
before was the tournament.
Okay.
So the day before I fought in that tournament, we won, and I went to sleep in favela, the slang of tereré,
Yeah.
cantagalo.
Yep.
There was funky party all night. We didn't sleep well. We got the airplane. People bought tickets in the airplane for us, but I don't think was the people who sell to us. I think they did something wrong with credit cards because
Oh,
once we get in the plane, they start to when they clone the credit cards and stuff.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
people. So because they start to ask who is with somebody and we supposed to be with somebody that was not there. I didn't understand. We just paid the guy and the guy disappear,
Oh,
and
wow.
probably this guy was cloning. So we
Yeah.
get in the airport in the morning, Sunday. We go straight to the fights, and we got in the final, and I fight Roger in the final, and was a great fight. It was like 11-6, and Roger ended up winning. But was a
It was an amazing
there,
fight.
we're gonna talk next time
Yeah.
in the next
Yeah.
podcast for sure. But
Oh,
I'm
believe
very
me,
excited.
sorry to interrupt. Believe me, I only got through like 25% of the things that I wanted to ask you. So
No,
don't worry, we're
we
doing
do.
this again. All right,
For
cool.
sure, for sure. I would love
Nice.
to do. And
Okay.
so the YouTube channel is something that I wanna talk. People go there, Demian Maia, just Demian Maia.
Yep.
Is a black and white picture, and the affiliation, we just redid everything. Flavio and I, the guy who works with me, he lives in San Diego, and we really want to grow. That is something that I want to do. I'm planning to do something instructional. Not right now. I was talking with Bernardo.
Okay.
Bernardo is a dear
Yep.
friend also from BJJ Fanatics,
Yep.
and I'm doing another. This quarantine times, I'm doing, like doing a lot of course of jiu-jitsu. Writing a lot of stuff that I want to do.
Nice.
Some documentaries I've been doing in Brazil, and like this one, ufcdocs.com.br, and there's another one that I went to Egypt, interviewing people, and Greece that is here in combat, will be in combat soon.
Okay.
Who else? So people can follow me at DEMIAN MAIA, Instagram, Twitter, the YouTube channel now, and yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, man.
And to
Again,
get affiliate,
yeah.
if you want to get affiliate, just send a message to my Instagram or to DEMIAN MAIA affiliation, DEMIAN MAIA BJJ _ affiliation, and we're gonna answer. I hope the team grows, and we are gonna start to work on that right now.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to put up all the links on the YouTube, like in the description here, so anyone
Thank
can
you.
kind of follow you. And yeah, man, once again, this was awesome. If you guys are watching at home, if you go to my YouTube channel, I actually made a video about Damian's history in jiu-jitsu called Who is Damian Maia?
I saw that. It was great. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Was it accurate? Was it good? Was it, what did
Well,
you?
yeah, it was good. It was very
Okay.
good. Very good.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I try again,
Yeah.
like I wanted to, talk more about your jiu-jitsu and ADCC career, not so much your UFC career, because I think you have a lot of history, and you could, you're a very integral part in something pretty major that I touched on in the Who is Damian Maia video, and we could talk about that next time more in depth. But
let's talk.
let's do it. All right. Once again,
Yeah.
Damian Maia, thank you so much for your time. If you
Thank
guys are
you.
watching at home, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Go to Damian Maia's channel, like and subscribe, and share his stuff. He's putting out some great content in English. Follow him on social media. I'll put up all the links. Damian Maia, thank you so much. I'll see you.
Thank you very much, Riccardo. Yeah, remember that I always try to put Portuguese and English when I do my lives. Also, everything I try to do Portuguese and English, because I want everybody to be able to share and learn and understand the content.
Awesome. Well, once again, thank you for everything you've done for jiu-jitsu. Thank you for representing the flag in the UFC.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing more of your content. And stay tuned, guys. Episode 7 of the Riccardo Baleia podcast coming soon. I'll see you guys next time.
See you. Bye.